Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Coaching Wednesday. And this week we have with us Lai-Ling Su. Hey, Lai-Ling, welcome back.
Hey, thanks, Vasco. I've got a really interesting topic that I'd love to unpick with you today.
Absolutely. So for those of us listening to this episode for the first time, others will already know, this is the coaching episode where we explore a topic that is the biggest challenge, is what we ask our guests, like Lai-Ling today. It doesn't need to be the only challenge, but it needs to be one challenge that we explore together in a coaching conversation, because this is what we need to do every day as Scrum Masters. So, Lai-Ling, share with us, what topic do you bring to us this week?
Okay, Vasco. So I'm going to speak in general terms to protect the confidentiality of the nature of the conversations that I've been having. But I think there's enough in sort of the demographic patterns at a systems level for us to dive in and explore a little bit. So Australia is on the brink of the largest sort of intergenerational wealth transfer in its history. And over the next couple of decades, $3.5 trillion in business and personal wealth is going to get transferred or change hands as businesses, property, investments, and so forth pass to the next generation. And your listeners might be thinking, well, who cares? But to put that into perspective, private and family-owned businesses generate about a third of Australia's $1.75 trillion GDP, provide jobs for about 5.3 million people, which is about 40-ish% of the private workforce in this country. And 70% of those private and family businesses are planning to sell or succeed in the coming years with this generational change. And what's going to really deeply hit us is that with this generational change, business leadership transitions are being enacted as a part of this transfer. And what I mean by that is you start to see changes in your executive leadership, your CEOs, your business owners, the people who are driving decisions and leading these businesses for the next generation, for the next few decades. And so the leadership styles that we've been used to over the last, few decades is going to shift. And we have a once in a generational or once in a lifetime type of opportunity to fundamentally work with these leaders to shift the workplace environments and the workplace dynamics in the way that we've been trying to craft in the world of product and agile and whatnot for the last few decades on our own, whether from the ground up or in conjunction with the existing leaders. And so I've been spending a lot of time engaging more and more with these business owners who are about to retire, or the CEOs that are coming in as first-time CEOs, either coming through from the family and stepping into these roles with no full breadth and depth of capability to lead or grow these businesses, that have to deal with these, previous generational owners who don't want to let go yet because they've spent their lifetime building these businesses and they don't want to know what happens when they let go of control, let go of things to flow into the next generation. or you've got external CEOs coming in after a sale or after, a child says to their retiring parent, I don't want to run the business. And these external CEOs are coming in and doing things wildly different to how the business was originally built. And they're facing significant resistance in doing so. And so these and other sort of, business leadership transfer scenarios are creating leadership vacuums that are stalling decisions, losing confidence of the customers and the communities that they serve, and they're fracturing what were possibly once really tight-knit teams, really high-performing tight-knit teams. And
so what I'm hearing is that this transition that you just described is something that many of us have experienced within other non-generational transition, business transitions, right? Like what I'm hearing is that there's a certain culture, there's a certain approach to tackling the business as well as the community and the people problems within the business. And that's about to change because the leadership in those businesses is changing. And the leadership in those businesses or any other businesses, when it changes, there's a transformation, whether we like it or not. It's just a natural consequence. And what I hear you say is, we need to be ready for this transformation so that in the case of Australia specifically, it doesn't cause a catastrophic outcomes within the national economy, right? Like lots of bankruptcy and so on. But from where I'm standing, like thinking as an agile coach and as a Scrum Master, it's also about how do we go through a transition like this and keep the team solid, performing?
100%.
Is that what you're considering, like in terms of thinking about like how to support these businesses in your work?
Where I'm going is I'm thinking about what can we do to support the outgoing and incoming leaders of these businesses during these transitions, because they're hard. They're actually really, really hard and disruptive. I've been talking to them about things like proper succession planning, making sure that the old guard transitions all the wealth of knowledge and the know-how into the next generation. And so, there's continuity in that. Been talking to them about uplifting leadership capabilities and, utilizing and understanding the strengths of their teams so that the transition is much softer and less jarring for the people who are day in, day out operating these businesses. And they feel like they still have a home, they still have a job, and the future is not so bleak.
And this happens in our teams all the time, right? Like
yeah,
because the change of leadership is something that is just a natural consequence of a team that is successful, right? A team that fails doesn't need to worry about it because it's no longer there. But all successful teams will go through leadership transitions, whether it's somebody internally that grows up to become a leader to replace somebody else who's gone on to other challenges, or the company changes ownership, or just like we were talking about yesterday in the Tuesday episode, there's an M&A activity that leads to two companies merging. This is something we need to be aware of as leaders. What are some of the things that you're thinking can support these teams in this moment of transition? Not just the leaders, of course, that's one, both the ones coming in as well as the ones going out, but also the teams themselves to stay solid and focused on what they were doing well in the past.
I think they need to be respected for who they are, what they've done and achieved in the past, particularly with leaders coming in with no background of the business, of the people. This can be quite challenging and put people offside quite quickly and create resistance. And so I think there's something around leaders and Scrum Masters who protect the team in a very different way to what they've been used to during these transitions. They protect the team by, letting the newcomers know about what it is that, their strengths are, what it is about the work that's important to the business, what it is that they're doing to create sustainable growth within the business, what it is that this team and these groups of really loyal people can do for the new coming or incoming leaders to set them up for success. It's very much creating awareness to one of our earlier points, creating awareness, but also creating opportunity and dialogue on both sides. I think there's an element of that, but I think there's so many different avenues that we can take, and I'm only scratching the surface of it. And I think, with the applicability of this topic across multiple scenarios, as you highlight, our listeners are going to be thinking about their own scenarios and going, what can I do with my team? What can I do with my leaders if we know that there is a transfer of leadership coming through soon, or we've been just hit with one? How do we respond to it in a meaningful and constructive way?
Yeah, absolutely. How do we respond to changing leadership? I think that would be a whole new bonus episode. Maybe we'll get you back to talk about that. But for today, thank you very much for sharing that with us. Really an inspiring topic for us to sink our thinking hats into.
Something to ponder.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.